everyone, and welcome to Grenades and Horror. Drive to bring good times, good feels, and general shenanigans every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Seriously? Are you guys gonna announce it? Or are you guys holding it back still? Okay. Yeah. So Saint 14 Project has a stream that's coming up, and Mark and Average Joe have been working on a collaboration. Do not miss it, because it's going to be pretty fantastic. Welcome to episode 32. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, we kind of realized why this game never actually made it to the United States and why it actually ended the franchise, we found out. Golden Axe 3 was so bad that the company actually closed its doors and said, we will not unleash this type of terrible game on the society anymore. Right. Too hard. Yeah. Yep. That's all right. Your guys' mics are hot now.
Ah,
All right.
That was me.
was that? Did you mute us?
I did mute you.
You muted us.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start over. Episode 32 coming up right now. I'm Mark Square. This is Gray Ghost, and this is Yuna. We were talking about when I was muted on chat earlier about how Average Joe and I have a new fun thing coming out. He will be announcing that very soon to the public. We've worked with an Etsy crafting person to create something very special about Saint 14 and things. So excited about that coming up soon.
And then we were just briefly recapping how Mark and I have been doing. We've been doing some retro game streams, so we're mixing it up a little bit, and we're playing just a variety of some new games, some retro games, even some remakes of retro games, which have been kind of cool. And so you can check that out on our Grenades and Horseshoes YouTube page. All those are saved. A lot of them are also on Mark's Twitch or my Twitch page, GrayGhost2E. And in our screen cap here in the G&H studio is a clip of Mark playing Golden Axe 3, where his character embraces my character and jumps down into a hole.
To our deaths.
I was playing as Giant Man Baby, and Gray was Cat Person. We decided that was their name.
I'm Man Baby and Guy.
Yeah.
Man Baby and Cat Person. It'd make a good comic book. I got to be honest. I would read that. So I have a question for you guys.
But would you make it? That's the thing.
I've failed to make comics many times in the past. So I've got a question for you guys. Let's say you could Mr. Potato Head the human race a little bit. What two parts would you swap?
Oh.
And how's this not supposed to be dirty? Oh my gosh. What two parts would you swap?
As a for instance, have you ever thought, like, what if your nose was somewhere on your body that would like catch water? It would be bad. Like, what if it was upside down or on on the back of your head, just like stuff just pouring into? Bad thing. But I mean, like, so you can do as inconvenient for humans as you want, or as convenient, like just. You're like, hey, I would like an extra boob in the middle of the back for dancing. Like, that would be okay.
For dancing?
For dancing. so you got one person in the front and another person in the back, and they're both happy?
No, just like one boob in the middle of between the shoulder blades. I saw it in a movie.
What does that have to
You saw.
Jesus.
Or heard it. I can't remember.
What would I swap?
It was disturbing as you thought of that.
I didn't think of it. I'm just saying it was Hollywood. It made me say it.
Hollywood.
Yeah, you guys are stalling. Answer.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a clever answer here. To Mr. Potato Head, anybody I want, I would probably swap.
No, the whole human race.
For everybody.
You get it. You get it. Everybody gets
Everybody
it. Oprah
has to
passes
get it.
out.
So it can't be that awful. I would swap one eye with I'd put an eye on the back of my head is what I would do for the whole human race. Have them split. So one eye's forward, one eye's back. Our brains, I think, would wire themselves so that they could actually see everything.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what
but
I would
no
do.
depth perception anymore.
Yeah,
Like you couldn't tell how far anything is away.
You go to like
That's fine.
you go to like hug someone and like just fall on your face.
Maybe we would have adapted to like have some sonar to like tell how far things are.
I think we'd figure it out.
Look at
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. You guys realize that people who have actually lost an eye don't do those things that you're describing.
no, between the two of them.
We just alienated a big part of the American population.
Yes.
The population of the
I wasn't
planet.
even thinking of that. I'm thinking of like the combo.
All right, Yuna,
so
I
bad.
had to come up with something. What would you, Mr. Potato Head?
Oh, when I Mr. Potato Head, I don't know. I think humans are put together pretty like appropriately for what we are. We're bipeds and everything, and we get our opposable thumbs and I don't even know. Can I add something to our anatomy?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, gills.
Oh.
Put gills on.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
love gills. I would.
Yes.
Well, as long as my lungs function too.
Oh yeah. No, this is an addition. So
Okay.
like, this
Yeah.
is like when we evolved, we actually kept our gills because eventually,
Okay.
like at some point during
So it's
related.
pretty
thing.
clear that you and I are trying to increase the capabilities of the human race, right? Give us additional, powers essentially. What would you do, Mark? What would you?
Oh, I didn't even think about this. Do I get to answer my own question?
Sure.
Yes, I think that's a given.
Okay. Well, if I can add things such as you said, I would definitely add a single breast on the back for
on your back, just for dancing.
So does that include men as well? All of a sudden, every dude
Yes.
has a boob on the
Yes.
back, on their
Yes.
right in the middle of their back, like between their shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Yes, and also it functions as a little bit of a rest. You lean back.
Lumbar
in your bed.
support.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay, it's clear that you don't have boobs because you can't just do that.
And
'cause
obviously,
that is
we've never
not,
got to
no,
experience
that's not,
them.
Are you assuming our booblessness? I think you
Yeah.
are.
Because putting your full force on a boob is painful.
Oh,
so it's clear that you don't have boobs.
When you're laying on your stomach, isn't it like a prop? And it's like you can like.
No.
Okay.
What do you
Alright.
think? What do you think's in there?
What do you think?
Down. I thought it was
Very-
just down,
Very
like
small
goose
rock?
feathers.
It's a sandbag. No, it doesn't prop me up.
I
They
assume
squish.
the same thing that's in
Or at
Stretch
least
Armstrong.
if they're natural, they squish. Otherwise, they just pop.
Oh,
And then you have a whole
yeah.
world of problems.
I got a hug from one of my friends, and it was like two like bowling balls pressed
And-
against me. They were not real.
And they're not real. Yeah.
And then not only did that happen, but then the friend also said in my ear, "I've got 16 years on these 12-year boobs."
Oh, Mark! Wow.
I don't know if it was like hug tighter or don't hug so tight
No, this is just
kind of a thing.
Yes. So if we were in charge of the human race, we would have dual cyclops. We would have triple boob. And we'd have gills. We could breathe underwater. It's a good thing that we are not in charge of the human race. Mark, let's talk a little bit about gaming. What happened for... Oh, I'm sorry. I went the wrong order. Yuna. Let's talk a little bit about weekend gaming. What did you do this week in your life with video games?
Well, I did get to play. I got to play one morning of Destiny, and I got to play on Tuesday morning before the reset with Lawn Boy and Dakota, who were like.
So that was pre-Iron Banner, Iron Banner. So you guys must have been farming Nightfall, I'd expect.
Yeah. Yes, right. I think we did either 5 or 6. I was aiming for first time drop on the hand cannon.
The DFA. The DFA.
Yeah, that was a pipe dream. But at least I can say that I attempted it, and I put in a little bit of time into Destiny this week.
Prior to this week, how many Nightfalls had you run, say, in the last 2 months?
I don't know. They're all with you guys.
Yeah, probably like 1. Maybe 1.
Like, we did a couple with Mark and Mongo.
Yeah. Not many is my point.
No.
I've been farming DFA this week as well, and I ran the Nightfall 11 times. That's 11 times more than I have in the last month and a half. I can guarantee you that. And part of my week in gaming is just, kudos to Bungie for giving me a reason to hop into the game, play with some new friends, and go for something. Have something actually to go for. I was bummed after 11 runs that I didn't get it, but hey, it's going to come back around eventually.
Yep. And there are people that did like 45 runs and didn't get it.
Yeah, it's the grind, the hunt for something is exciting. I enjoy that. The Nightfall itself, like, it's an okay Nightfall. It's fine. It's not the greatest, but actually just that desire to get that particular hand cannon, which happens to be a very strong PvP Crucible hand cannon. Probably going to be the best Crucible PvP hand cannon in the meta right now. It gives you a reason to go and try to put in some time to get it. And that was fun. And it was exciting to play with all of our friends and even people I'd never played with before that were also trying to get this hand cannons. Because when we beat the strike, right, we'd all go to that chest and it's like, who's going to get it? Is anybody going to get it this time? We're going to hop back in if we don't. And
do we see purples? Nope.
Yep.
And that was fun. That was kind of cool.
I agree. Make it harder to get. I was playing Monster Hunter a little bit with Lawn Boy, and I needed a Pookie quill. I needed 2 to make this certain hood that looks like a hunter hood. I was totally into it. We fought one. We, took its parts or whatever creepy stuff you do on Monster Hunter, and I did not get it. And I told Lawn Boy, I was like, I actually like that I didn't get it because, why is everyone farming DFA right now? Because it's hard to get. Like, it's a thing. Oh, sorry. We talked over your... What else we can game?
No, it's okay. No, you guys didn't talk. We were having a discussion. Well, talking is a part of a discussion. But anyway, I digress. I did reinstall Hearthstone onto my iPhone yesterday because I used to play a lot of Hearthstone, and I thought, I had some, fun cards, like, but it's been like probably a good 2 years since I've played it. And I'm playing, and I was, I got back into it, and I'm like, okay, this is how this works again. And I go into casual because there's no way I'm going into ranked right now, right? I'm going, and I used to play ranked, going to casual, and I'm getting my ass kicked. And I'm talking like people are like throwing out cards, and I'm like, where the hell did you get that card? Holy crap. Like every single card that anyone played against me had like the super special thing. I'm like, oh my God. Like there was only one, I won once, but there was one game that was really close. And like I thrown out in my Malagos, which makes everything go like super fast. And the guy like literally used every single card he had to get him off the thing. And he did end up winning, but like it was really close and it was really fun. And we were just, emoting back to each other, which was nice because there was no like anger there because we were on casual. But
I do like that. Yeah.
I got
the emote wheel doesn't allow you to be a jerk the way that the emotes work in the game.
Oh, no, you can.
Really?
But you can taunt people? Oh, yeah.
Oh, taunt? Yeah, I've never pressed that. What happens?
Well, I meant like, taunt people. You can say...
Your character throws a giant middle finger. Yeah. It does. Yeah.
It's like no, there's different... Some of them are like if someone makes a bad move, you can go, oops, and then smash them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'm just not doing it properly then. I like to play a friendly game.
Yeah, me too.
But you know what might be happening is there's this thing in Hearthstone that did not exist when I was playing. It's called Standard. And then there's the cards that aren't standard, like if you're in a pool, if your deck doesn't have all standard cards, you'll get put in a pool of people that are playing every card since the beginning of Hearthstone, all the most powerful stuff. So you need to build a standard deck.
Yeah.
So, and which is like basically everything in the last year. There's like 5 sets in it. But yeah, I've been getting super.
But I don't have any of those cards.
Yeah. You'll need to play the.
Just the year 1 cards are allowed in that. It's like year 1 and the most recent.
Do the dungeon crawl, the kobolds thing, and then in a couple weeks there is a monster hunt coming out for like the newest set too, which is like it's like the PvE content, but you unlock cards that you can't get any other way, and then like you'll get packs for it and stuff too. So.
Wait. You're saying there's PvE content in Hearthstone?
Yeah. So it works like it's like dungeon crawl, which means it's single elimination, and you're facing these bosses that have these abilities that no player has access to.
Yeah, like crazy. Like I tried one, and I'm like, there's one of them, and it was I was trying to do Ice Crown Citadel, and just the first one, every turn his special was that he could fully regen his health. I'm like, I did it once, and I'm like, how am I supposed to kill him?
Yeah.
So you got to get him down in one turn.
I'm gonna have to get him. I'm gonna have to build up all these like massive monsters, or like amass all of these spell cards.
Have you reached the boss that shoots laser beams out of its third boob on its back? That one is crazy.
I want to meet this boss.
It's like disco boobs.
You do get if you like between each round you get this loot that really helps you too and gives you crazy abilities as well. But it's RNG, right? Like you get to choose between 3. Like one dungeon run, I got one that doubled my starting health. So like I had like crazy amounts of health. I could play super sloppy and still win. I still lost. I didn't make it to the end. But just saying, like I had a better chance that time than I had any of the other times, even with my skill level. So I'm really enjoying it too. That's what I'm doing. What about you? What about you, Gray? What'd you play this week?
Yeah, this week's been an interesting week. I definitely hopped in and was farming the Nightfall. I got to play with a couple of the Rezo guys. Thanks to leadoff man Booker, was awesome. Played with Papo too over there at Rezo. We had a great stream. I have to give props to She Snaps and Fat Man for raiding my stream. That was very fun, and She Snaps even hung out in the chat for a little bit. She's off at that summit going on right now and at Bungie, so hopefully they're getting some good work done and helping to make improvements on this game. So that's been really fun. Mark, you and I, we've just been kind of just burning the candle at both ends. We've been playing games from 1980 and 1985, and played a little Golden Axe 2, which we had the most ridiculous time playing Golden Axe 2. For one, it plays like a spreadsheet, right? You have to line up your character on the correct row if you expect to do damage to anyone. It is,
and if you line up on your teammates' row, you're doing damage to them.
The friendly fire, is kind of cool.
Fire?
Yep.
Yeah.
As seen in the image on the TV screen above your head.
Yeah, that's me and Gray. Like that's me punching.
You guys aren't fighting each other?
No.
On purpose?
I am.
Well,
I am. I'm fighting him on purpose, but he's not. That's why I got the drop on him. You didn't expect it.
So you can actually go check out those streams that are archived. They are pretty funny. Mark is cracking up on some of those. We farmed we did that, right? So Golden Axe 2, the only thing that really killed us on Golden Axe 2 is if you disconnect from your partner, the game just quits. Right? No matter how far you've been in the game, it does not save. It does not give you a checkpoint. You have to start from the very beginning. And it killed us twice that we lost our connection to each other. And like you have to start from level 1, zone 1, and it was painful actually. By the third time it kicked us off, we were like, we got to do something different because we're not playing through these levels again. Yeah,
and it did it on Golden Axe 3 as well. Like we were playing that dumpster fire of a game, and then it kicked us off, and we were like, thank God. Like we were into Golden Axe too, and we were sad that we got kicked out, but then we played 3 and we were like, well, you know what, I don't feel too bad about this actually.
Right.
Retro games are great.
And so you can get these if you have the Xbox Game Pass. It's available. I would have to give it a solid 1 out of 10 on the Grenades and Horseshoes scale.
For co-op.
Do it if you. I mean, obviously it's free if you have the Game Pass, and it's just going to be a little bit of silliness. But it was kind of cool going back, especially Mark and I both played. I mean, I played Golden Axe 2 on the Sega Genesis, so it definitely brought back memories of when I was like 6 years old playing these old games.
I played so much Golden Axe and Golden Axe 2. Like, it was ridiculous, like how much of that.
Yeah. So we did that. I did farm and try to get DFA. I did not get it. I'm looking forward to when it comes back around, but I'm also excited for just these new strike-specific weapons. So incremental changes in Destiny 2 have so far shown some positivity. The Go Fast update, definitely some positive things coming out. We've got some news from Bungie. This week at Bungie came out yesterday that talked a little bit about how progression's going to work. Makes me really excited to see much more grind, less just, here's a bunch of gift engrams that you can decode to max light. Don't play our game, just go and talk to Hawthorne. That's all you have to do. They're getting rid of a lot of those components. So, not necessarily getting rid of it, but it's not going to be the way to get to max light anymore. So I'm excited about that as well. They're making lots of changes to the exotic weapons. If you saw the video that came out today about Rat King, those who are our listeners, go check out that video. A team playing PvE with Rat King in full auto. The change is going to be full auto, which makes so much sense. Like,
just another change too.
What's that?
You just have to have it equipped. You don't have to be using it anymore.
For it to give the buff to your teammates. Yep, that's a good change. But I mean, it didn't make any sense what they did initially. You could not physically pull the trigger fast enough to use its proc, right? So the whole benefit, the exotic perk of the gun was useless after you had 3 or 4 people, because people could not pull the trigger fast enough to actually use it. It could only fire as fast as you could physically pull the trigger. So switching it to full auto, the video looks insane. So make sure that you have a clean pair of underwear next to you, because you're probably going to need it after you watch the video that Bungie posted. So go check that out. I'm excited to see these things come into fruition. Let's see what else happened this week in gaming. I did play a little bit of the 20XX, which is a Mega Man clone. We are going to spotlight it on a future Indie Spotlight, so I'm not going to talk in too much detail. But in short, what I'll say is, if you were disappointed in Mighty Number 9, this is the game that you should look at. This is what Mighty Number 9 should have been. And if you like Mega Man, definitely go check it out. We'll have a full review probably next week on our Indie Spotlight. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, because I've been kind of going long on Weekend Gaming. And Mark, you're going to school us. You're going to show us a few card tricks here in Hearthstone. What's going on, man?
Well, I just wanted to kind of just say, hey, give it a shot. Like, it was when I first played it, I thought I lost interest a little bit because it was a little bit too simplistic. There wasn't enough depth to it. That being said, now the standard gameplay is healthy, and there's I actually like to see games like this ban cards, because that shows that they're not just going to let any old broken thing continue. So they're maintaining their standard card pool. There's a card right now on what I feel like is on the chopping block, and I'm interested to see what they do. So I'm really liking it. All of those games. Hang on just 1 second.
We're going to do a little edit out of this section and see what Mark has going on right now. He's looking under his desk.
Sorry about that.
All right.
I had someone brought me some water. Abby is her name. You guys can know that. It's not a secret. A mystery person. Like, should I trust that someone elevated, like, just came up through the floor, hand me a glass of water? I'm going to drink it. So
we're wondering what she's doing under your desk.
The thing,
you're extra scattered.
No, sorry. I've had a lot of shots. So the thing that I like about it is, like, if you play any card games like Magic or basically a lot of them, you draw your resources, right? And so you can actually get no resources and you can't play the game. And it happens to me very regularly. I've actually built a Magic deck to prove how unlucky I am. I'm going to bring it to Austin and play it against you. Great. It actually kills me. Anyway, it's a long story. You guys don't care about that. The thing about Hearthstone is every turn you receive an extra crystal that fills up with your resource. So like on turn 1, you've got 1, you can spend it. On turn 2, you've got 2. It fills back up. So there's no way that you're not going to get resources in the game, which is something that I feel like is a great improvement over, those type of games. So it's something in the game design. It's making me take an extra look at all of Blizzard's games. I actually tried out Heroes of the Storm today, just to kind of see what it was like. I'm having growing confidence in Blizzard as a game developer. And like literally the gateway to that was Hearthstone. I've never played WoW. I'd never played Heroes of the Storm. I played a little bit of Overwatch. I'm going to take another look at that now. I'm going to give it a little bit more of an effort to see what it's all about, because I have confidence in Blizzard more and more as a game developer. So that's something that's really exciting that's happening.
So I want to understand a little bit more about Hearthstone, because it's a game that when it first launched, I downloaded it. This was 2014, I want to say, that it came out, either 13 or 14. And I played a fair bit of it, but I never graduated to where I was very comfortable playing in the PvP side of things. I didn't really get into any kind of advanced deck building, and it was launch, right? So you didn't even have these different generations of decks. Say that you're somebody who, you're listening and you're saying, man, that Mark Square guy, he's talked up this Hearthstone so well that I have to download it. How would somebody get started in deciding how they want to build their initial deck? How do they build their initial deck?
All right. Do you have something, Yuna? Do you want to?
Oh, no.
Okay.
This is your.
Okay. So what I do is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what drafting is in a card game. It's where usually you would sit around and you would open packs and you would build a deck based on that. Hearthstone has something called Arena, and it actually costs like $1.99 to join into Arena. But then you choose between 3 cards over and over and over, and you build your deck out of the cards that you're picking. And if you do well in that, you get bonus cards that you get to keep. You get packs as prizes and that kind of thing. If you do well enough, you get your next entry free into the arena. So that's one way. The other way is every time you log on, there are challenges that you can complete to receive prizes for packs, right? So it might say, in PvE, defeat so many enemies, play so many cards, whatever. If you complete that kind of a thing, you get free packs. Now, if you just want to spend money, you can go in and buy I think $50 buys you 40 packs, I think is how it goes. And so you can buy smaller amounts as well. But what happens is, say in a regular card game, you get spare cards. You can go and sell those cards to a shop and buy other cards you need. Hearthstone handles that too. So if you get any card you don't want, or if you get extras of anything, you can turn that into dust. And then when you're looking at your card collection, you can either look at what you have, or you can hit crafting, and you can see every card that's available. And then you can create cards with your dust that is made from broken down other cards. So it's not like you have to get lucky and get something out of a pack. If you want something bad enough, you can break down enough other cards, and depending on rarity, you'll spend a different amount of dust to make that card to build your deck.
It's sounding kind of like there's a pay-to-win component here. Would you say that if people are willing to spend more money, they are likely to have stronger decks and therefore more likely to win in the PvP side?
It's a pay-to-win quicker. If you want to spend a month building up your cards, you're going to be just as competitive as anyone else. If you go in and you do your challenges and you play the game the way that they're suggesting that you play it, you'll get enough cards and you can. So let's say that there's all these different characters, right? And they have different abilities, and say you're going to focus on one of them. I want to build this deck to play in standard. You can disenchant stuff that you don't have extras of. Say you get a rare and it's only for this other character. Break it down. Break everything down that is not exactly either neutral that everybody can use, or is not exactly for the character that you're into. And that way you can get one standard deck built up, so that when the daily challenge is a standard challenge, you can defeat that too. And then eventually, if you decide to get into tournament play, which I definitely want to do, because when we were at PAX East, there one was going on, a huge one. Geico put it on. And I thought they were just demoing the game, but I started watching on YouTube, and like suddenly like all these PAX East highlights are coming up. But the way those work is you actually you play 3 different decks against each other, and you and your opponent both disqualify a certain number of heroes that can't be used. So eventually, if you did decide to get into tournament play, you would need a very strong deck of all the characters.
Oh,
so,
really?
but that's that's later. That's something. If you're going to get into tournament play, you're probably going to be willing to spring money on packs or spend a ton of time playing PvE and arena to build up your collection because you'll love the game that much.
And one thing I do want to throw out there is I do want to make sure that I mention that as far as like a new player that's never picked it up before, what Blizzard does really great is actually introduce you to the game. So they don't just kind of drop you in there and be like, oh, hey, here's a list of what you can and can't do. Go nuts. They do take you through each individual character. It teaches you do go through, you learn what their specials are, you learn what their shtick is, with their cards and their decks and everything like that, and you do fight against different types of decks, just as purely a educational experience. And as you go through that, it does as you get higher level with that particular character, it unlocks and gives you better cards for that deck. And so by the time that you get to a decent level with that character, just going through the tutorials and the PvE stuff, you have a pretty good basic deck to start with before you even try to add new cards to it.
Yep. Yeah, they are great about it. It doesn't feel like you're learning either. That's what I like about Hearthstone. Like, you're playing the game and you're learning as you go. And it's one of those games that is really easy to learn, but really has a lot of depth and is hard to master. Now, I would say before, when it first came out, it was just easy to learn, period. Mm-hmm. It was not hard to master because there was like such a limited card pool. Whereas now it's definitely, hard to master, easy to learn. Oh my gosh. And the interactions are getting more complex, and there's cards now that if you put them in your deck, they actually cause a change. Like, for instance, the deck that I'm working with now is called Odd Paladin, because there's a card that if all the cards in your deck are odd, odd casting costs, so 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, and no even number casting costs, it'll make your hero ability double. So
wow.
Yeah, so I put it on the Paladin and Paladin. Paladin. It's a whole new world when you're playing a Paladin.
Paladin.
I did that with a Saladin too. Saladin. Oh,
Saladin.
So anyway, he usually makes 1/1/1 is his hero ability. Now he makes 2. So like you use that and you pick the cards that kind of synergize with that to make a really strong thing. Anyway, I went on about Hearthstone for a really long time, so I'm checking out. Let's move on to the G&H News Desk this week to see what Yuna has found from around the interwebs for us.
Okay, so today on the News Desk, I'm going to call this the Battle Royale edition because almost everything we're going to talk about today is related to something that is Battle Royale related.
Lots of Fortnite in the news.
Yes.
Fortnite.
Yes, that Fortnite. Yeah, people are into that Fortnite, and I will finally download it on the Xbox, guys. So yes. I will download it this weekend. I'm not playing it this week though because I need to play my Iron Banner, but it'll be ready to go next week.
All right, cool.
Okay. But anyways, so this week I would say probably the most interesting one, kind of the most humorous one that we have, comes to us from Kotaku and is posted on Monday. And title of that one is, As Tornado Closes In, North Carolina Teen Just Keeps Playing Fortnite. So that was pretty interesting. So what they do is there was a actual interview of this kid in North Carolina, and yeah, there was a big slew of tornadoes that kind of came through that area on Monday night. It was actually rather scary for people in the area. So 135-mile-an-hour tornado, state of emergency. Here's everything is going off. Tens of thousands of people lost power. Tornado uprooted the house, mobile homes, and trees. And we got this kid doing an interview with the news station in front of a flipped-over car, talking about how he just had to get that winner chicken dinner and could not stop playing Fortnite while the tornado was raging.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
You haven't played it too much yet, but the whole premise of it is, it's a battle royale and your area is shrinking, right?
Yeah.
But it's a storm eye. It's considered that's what they call it, a storm that is encroaching. So it's like, it's funny. He was like,
That's super ironic.
yeah, there's just extra storm in his Fortnite experience, and I didn't realize.
Now, apparently, he did end up getting him and a couple other children that were in the house safely away when it got too bad and he lost connection. But apparently, he had to lose connection first to usher his siblings into the bathroom. Jeez. Just crazy. Don't do that, guys.
I know. Well, okay, you're wearing noise canceling headphones though.
No,
right?
He was aware of it.
Oh.
He was absolutely aware of it.
Yeah, I think that the feeling of glass breaking across your face gets past the noise canceling headphones.
I don't feel it because I have these noise canceling headphones on.
So I can't explain it any better than the actual quote he gave. So this is what it comes up with: is I was sitting at home and I was playing Fortnite, and all of a sudden I just heard a bunch of noise. I looked out the window and I started seeing roofs come off the houses in front of me. Then I sat back down because I only had a couple of people left in my game. I was going to try to finish that game.
No way! Oh my gosh, this guy's crazy.
This is gonna go under hashtag Don't Be That Guy. All right.
Yeah.
No.
There will always be another game of Fortnite unless you actually die in real life because of the game you're currently playing.
Yeah.
Just remember, in real life, you're always playing survival.
Yes, it is survival.
Yes,
Yep.
there is no next round. So
No, there isn't at all.
Juice does not heal your wounds in real life either.
all right, what else we got from the news desk?
Next one we got is also related to Fortnite, and that one actually came from today. And the title on this one is Fortnite players stop waiting for Comet, destroy Tilted Towers themselves. So on this one, so there's rumors that the Tilted Towers are going to be going to be craterized. Lately, Fortnite has been having near the Tilted Towers visions of comets coming in, and they've been multiplying. So people are freaking out. They don't know what's going on. And there's lots and lots of conspiracy theories and
Speculation.
Say theories twice out on the internet.
Theories. It's
Theories.
more complicated.
They're just they're serious theories, not conspiracy theories, but they're just fun.
Yeah, like one of them, somebody actually, if you go to a certain section of the map, your controller will start to vibrate in a rhythmic sequence. And they decoded this sequence, and it said it was in Morse code, SOS D5 418. And so people were thinking that means obviously SOS. And then D5 happens to be the square on the board where Tilted Towers is located.
Yeah.
And then
April 18th.
April 18th, 418, but it could just mean April 2018 because obviously April 18th was yesterday.
Yeah, it was
and
yesterday.
Tilted Towers still exists. The comet is still in the sky. So it didn't happen yet. I did read one article, but I think that this is malarkey. I don't think this actually happened, where somebody glitched under the map. And under Tilted Towers was geometry of a crater. And so the thought was this is in the code of the game. It hasn't been released yet because we haven't got to that phase of this event that's going to occur. But I think that's been debunked. I think that somebody was trolling a little bit when they said that happened. There wasn't really any proof of it.
That would
There's
be
still
great.
some controversy.
I love everything about this.
I think it's fantastic too. It's really cool to see this progress in the game, right? You have a game which is actually fairly similar in terms of mechanics, right? You drop in, you're into the same map every time. Fortnite only has one map, and you play your little battle royale, and then to notice just little differences as you keep playing the game over time, that's crazy smart. Epic is crazy smart.
I agree. So imagine you're flying on your bus. The bus just crisscrosses the island, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine you're on it at this key moment where the comet is falling and your bus is going across the island, and then your bus gets hit by the comet. Oh, it'd be so good, and you're just out, right? You should have jumped out before that comet hit your bus, but no, you shouldn't have. You should have stayed in the bus and taken a clip, because that
Yep.
lasts forever.
Exactly.
Can you
Send it to
imagine?
@G&H Show if you get that clip. I don't know what's going to happen here, guys. I love this article though, Yuna, because everybody was speculating this was going to happen on April 18th. So this post went out saying everybody should gather at Tilted Towers, and whether or not this occurs or not, whether it gets destroyed or it stays there, we're going to destroy Tilted Towers and then have a dance party. This is a game for last man standing, and people rallied behind this. There were some trolls that killed a few people and whatnot, but they would kind of take care of people who were doing that. And then it was just this like celestial party time in Fortnite celebrating this comet that's about to hit. That's about awesome. A community coming together for a fun thing in the game. I don't know of many things in the gaming industry that have quite worked out the way that this has.
That's amazing. Do you guys have any theories, like game mechanic wise? Do you think there'll be a day that's comet drop day, or a week where at a certain point in your match the comet actually drops and blows Tilted Towers up and you can use that to your advantage? I mean, Tilted Towers is center, right? Is it the center?
It's off center, but yeah. I mean,
it's off center. Okay.
Yeah.
It's towards the center.
Yeah, rarely does. Usually people move out of Tilted Towers, so rarely does the storm actually converge right on Tilted Towers. So it's not quite that central, but yeah, usually it's a place where you drop in, you loot, you try to get out of there if you survive, and move away from the map.
Do you see them incorporating it into the mechanics of the game, or do you just see it like you do an update and when you come back there's this crater instead of Tilted Towers?
I'm hoping that they do something where after this event has occurred, the first time you log in, you get a little bit of a cutscene. Mm-hmm. And that's even if it does. A lot of people don't think that this is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, great.
Yuna, are you still with us? Because all that we have on screen is a very pixelated version of you, like Skype shit the bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look like Mega Man.
I don't think that we have her. I wonder. I'm gonna drop her and add her back into the call.
Right on. Oh, there's a candid shot of her. Cheese.
Yep, there. Not quite as pixelated. Call failed. Ooh.
Her interwebs must be in bad shape. Skype is crashing and Mark Square is crashing as well. So Nate and I this weekend are headed to Austin, Texas for a motorbike show. Our friend Casey builds those things, and we're going to go down there and support him a bit. Also go to the parties and the after parties in particular. So that's exciting. But yeah, we fly out tomorrow midday, so we're prepping for that as well. And I'm sure we'll be back soon with some news. We've got more stuff coming up on the show, though. After the news, we have another indie spotlight. It's a new direction that we're taking the show, and I'm really excited about it. A lot of the innovation occurring in the indie games, and one thing I didn't realize until we went to PAX East was how much like retro games, indie games turn out to look sometimes. I mean, Omen Sight, the one that we talked about last week, was the exception. They have like tier 1 graphics in their indie game, for sure. So that's not normal though. Like that's ordinarily not the way things are. But that's not a bad thing for me because I really enjoy pixel art. In fact, one of the tweets that we did this last week was about a Super Nintendo game, Alien 3. And I remember when I was a kid playing that game and just looking around and being like, this game is pixelated, but it is beautiful. You use your flame thrower and like the pixel effects and the, all of the coloring and the light in it was just so beautiful. So it's not something, I'm not like a graphics snob at all. So these indie games have me really excited because trying something new, and they can create on a canvas, that is a little bit simpler, but they're testing out game ideas and mechanics and ways to make games in ways that other companies can't afford to do, basically. So,
right, and there's a couple of things that are working in their advantage. They, they have Unity and Unreal 4 are very developer-friendly engines right now that you can make beautiful games with small teams of people. And so we're seeing a certain quality of game like Omen Sight. We're going to talk about Murderous Pursuits. Just have a graphical quality about them that wasn't available prior to these engines being developed. All right, we're going to continue because there's just a couple things in the news desk that we did want to talk through before we go to our next segment. So another one is that DICE is reportedly prototyping a battle royale game for the next Battlefield. What do you think about this, Mark Square? Have you played any of the Battlefield games?
I played I played basically the worst possible thing I could have played, and it was a beta for Battlefield 3. And do you remember how terrible that was?
Yes.
I mean, there was just connection issues, right? I could tell it was a slick, fun game, but it was really ambitious, and no, I have not. So
okay. So some of them have gotten better. Battlefield, 1 was very interesting in that, not the original Battlefield, but their World War I game that was the last one to come out. It was episodic, which was a little bit different. I don't know that I enjoyed that quite as much. But Battlefield 5 is going to come out. They're testing a battle royale mode, and one of the things that I'm just waiting for it to come out and completely change the momentum that Fortnite has, is a battle royale game for a first-person shooter. Do you think that's something that you would get into more so than the cartoony third person of Fortnite? Or do you kind of feel like a first-person battle royale isn't the golden goose that I think it is?
No, I agree. I would love to play a first-person battle royale. That's the one thing. I love cartoon graphics and cell shading. If Fortnite was first person, I would be a whole lot more excited about it. I don't mind the character model there. I actually really like the Division. I'm not somebody who is a snob about third person, but I really do think that you get a little bit better of an experience in first person. The gun models are more exciting. Everything is a little bit more exciting in first person. So I'm totally keen to try that for sure. Yuna, can you hear us okay?
Yep. Can you guys hear and see me?
Yep. The only thing that we've done is Gray just kind of went on to the next news topic about the Battlefield news. So what do you think about that, the first person battle royale that's coming out?
Well, I think it's really interesting. It's a different twist on the genre than we've really seen. But, I mean, they were talking about this on Gamertag Radio last night because I popped in and listened to it. I think the whole Battle Royale thing, everyone's going to jump on, and it's going to be fun, and then that bubble is going to pop, and it's going to become oversaturated. I do think it's great that Battle Royale is going to, it's going to have Battlefront's going to have a Battle Royale that's more first person. However, thinking about it and watching my husband play that game, they have a lot of work to do with the lag to make that actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying that it has to be done and they have to do it well for it to succeed.
I agree.
Yeah, I find it kind of odd that first-person shooter games have had some difficulty with these larger encounters, multiplayer encounters. I played The Resistance 3, particularly on PlayStation 3, and there was a mode in there where you would have 50 PvP players on a map playing each other. 2 teams of 25. And granted, I mean, there was issues with lag, but it wasn't so much that you weren't willing to experience that many players on a map. It wasn't a last man standing mode. It was like a 25v25 kind of thing. But it was just a lot of PvP players on the map. I think somebody's going to pull this off. I don't think that the Battle Royale fever is going to fade. I think that some of its momentum will slow down. A lot of these people who are trying it out now to see what it's like, they're going to move on to other games. They're in it because it's popular right now. But I think there's going to be a core base of players that play these games forever. I mean,
I
years and years to come.
Yeah.
I think it's an innovation. I used to play 6 a lot. I loved Rainbow Six. they had a survival mode, right? And I felt like, and it was third person, but there was a cover system that was really good. But I felt like starting about that time period, a lot of survival modes were always included, right? And it was just like something that you expect in your multiplayer shooter game. I think Battle Royale is going to become something that people are going to start to expect or want when shopping for a shooter. So I'm with you, Gray. I think that it's here to stay, but I think it will fade a little bit.
It's not going to hit the numbers, which is what our next story is about, that Fortnite is currently hitting. Our next and final news desk story is that this is from IGN. Fortnite has made more than 25 million in 1 month. Its first month just from mobile. Just from mobile, 25 million.
Wow.
It's not even that. I mean, it's a great mobile port. Don't get me wrong. It's not a great mobile gaming experience. I mean, it is difficult. The controls are wonky. The graphics are I mean, it's the full experience. Mark, you and I have played this on mobile, and what they were able to accomplish is great. It's not how I want to play Fortnite. I want to have a controller or mouse and keyboard. I want to have a bigger screen, and I want to feel like I can control my character. $25 million by launching that.
Do that.
Wow. So you can plug a controller in or, get a Bluetooth controller for your iPad. And the thing is, all of this stuff, right? Like even thinking about PC gaming, right? And indie games in particular, they lower the cost of entry as far as how fast your PC has to be. And suddenly they've opened the market up to like all these janky home computers that everyone needs to have. And then they can play this game too. It's not even the same as a console race. It's like, how many homes are in America? That's how many consoles you have access to. How many iPads are or
iPhones and they did. I mean, they played a very smart marketing tactic, right? Initially, you had to sign up for a code. I mean, my perspective was that, or my experience is that they were handing out codes like candy. It wasn't like it was super restrictive to get an invite into playing Fortnite on iOS, but the fact that they made you sign up to get a code, it drove demand. This was something that was exclusive. This is not, this was a marketing tactic that gets used all the time. It's a very smart way to do it. A free game. Anybody can download it. There's no upfront cost, but their players are spending an average of $1 million a day on in-app purchases. Voluntarily. They just throw their money at the game for cosmetic stuff. It's crazy.
Their cosmetic stuff is awesome. I bought
awesome.
A pink bear costume for Battle Royale.
It was like $20. It was like $20 for you to dress up as a pink bear.
Okay.
You became a target on the map. It was a terrible decision. You're still proud of it.
Okay, you say that, but I've easily spent $50 on Love Nikki for outfits, and I personally know someone that spent $100 this week to get an outfit. I would never do that, but if she wants to do that, she can do that.
Hearthstone cards, I'll spend money on that kind of stuff. I'll spend money for real cards in real life. Like I don't really see the difference in a digital item and a real world item.
It just means that we as a generation, this is going to be a generation gap, right? Like
it is, yeah.
People, our kids they're going to view that. Why would you ever pay $60 for a game up front? Like the model is that you make money on in-game purchases. And we're like in a transition period where no. We spend $60 on a game and we should get the full experience. Everything that's in the game for $60 up front. And now some games walk a fine line. You've got Battlefield 2, you've got Destiny. The whole microtransaction ecosystem being put into a game with an upfront cost does not work very well. It's because you're trying to do two things from a revenue model. Fortnite, free. Nobody complains about buying costumes because they're buying $1 million worth a day just on mobile.
That's crazy. There's some angry parents out there like, what in the hell? Like,
yes.
You bought a bear?
I believe there are.
Really, though, they sound like, what in the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
and it'll slow down over time. Like we know that it's hitting its peak and it's very popular. If they keep making cosmetics like they are, though, people are gonna want to buy those. That Raven costume that just came out. Oh my gosh, That thing looks fantastic. They're doing some fantastic things with those cosmetics that who I hate buying cosmetic things in a game, I've been tempted. I've been definitely tempted.
But this is the thing. If they weren't making money on it, could they afford talented people to design the stuff to make more pretty things for us to buy? No, they couldn't. That's what I'm saying.
No, they'd have to do something else, which is more annoying, right? Like, well, they could either charge up front, but that lowers your player base. In a PvP game, that's not a good thing. So I wouldn't necessarily want them to do that. If they started supplementing ads into their platform, that would just be annoying. Like before that whole mode, like you're waiting to get on that moment of the game where you're waiting to get on the battle bus and you're just like hanging out and waiting. Just imagine if it's like, here's a Pepsi ad that you have to sit through before you can get on the battle bus. That would kind of stink. So I don't mind that. I think that the people who have the discretionary income to buy cosmetic items to support the game as a whole so I can play it for free, perfect. Go for it.
I agree.
Everybody's happy. You're happy as the consumer who spent the money. I'm happy as a consumer who's not spending the money. Epic's certainly happy because they're just making a shit ton of money right now.
Yeah, everybody's happy. The only people that aren't happy are the people that want to control what other people spend their money on. Which I'm just saying to those people, get wrecked. Like, I understand if it's not cosmetic that you've got a complaint. Like, and that's the way microtransactions worked previously. It feels like it's going in the cosmetic only direction for things that are a success. So I had a friend that literally he would get mad at me for micro, like buying. I remember Black Ops 2. There was like a gun you could buy, and it was freaking amazing.
Right.
And it was, it was like an SMG with auto rifle range or assault rifle range. It was amazing.
It was pay to win. It was pay to win.
And he was so angry about it. And I was like, yeah, I bought that thing. It is sweet. And he's like, you are part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Well, guys, we should move on because we are at coming up on an hour. We have an indie spotlight that I'm really excited to talk about. While we were at PAX, we got to sit and meet with these developers, check out their game. They were a really neat crew. It's Blazing Griffin's Murderous Pursuit. So this is a very interesting game. They had a very cool booth at PAX. Really neat banner. They had 6 stations set up for people to play. They consistently had a line. So getting some time to actually play their game and talk to the developers it took a wait, but it was worth the wait. Small studio. They're out of Scotland. They have a studio in Edinburgh and then another studio in Glasgow. And, they've just made a handful of games. This is a follow-up game to one of their earlier games. Looking up the name of it right now, called The Ship Remastered, which is a remake of a 2006 game called Ship Murder Party. But what they kind of specialize in are these kind of Agatha Christie-esque murder mystery PvP stealth kind of games. So let's talk about the game itself, and then we can kind of go on to a little bit about the developers and the company. So this game is all multiplayer, Mark. So already you're on board, right? There's no story. There's a story, but it's not like a long PvE campaign. 8 players load into one of 4 maps. They had one that we could play at PAX. The idea of the game, though, is that there's about 40 NPCs that look just like the characters that the 8 players are controlling, and you have to try to find a target, which is one of those 8 players. Okay? Now, again, there's 47 characters, which could be your target. Somebody has you as their target. And so it's one of those kill or be killed kind of things. But you don't want to make too many indications that you're a human player because you're going to stand out. And people are going to know that you are not acting like an NPC. You're acting like a human player. I think that you're my target. And there's some clues that kind of come along the way which help you figure out who your target is. There's a little bit of like a hot versus cold. Like as you move in certain directions, it kind of gives you an indication of, yep, you're getting closer to your target or not. But rarely are you in a situation where that mechanic tells you who the person is, because there's so many people around that you don't really know. As soon as you've selected a character that you actually want to attack and kill, essentially, you'll run a mechanic where you slap them or hit them. And immediately, like sirens go off, or there's a little indicator which shows you are not an NPC, right? You have now made an action which has targeted you, and whoever it has you on their roster to actually take out now knows that you're active in some area, right? So it's one of these things that as you play the game and you remain kind of stealthy and conservative and patient, you do well. If you're too active, if you are too aggressive in your pursuit of your target, you're going to stand out and you're going to be an easier target to hit. And at the end, it's just whoever had the most kills. If you happen to get spotted and not able to perform your target, you lose your target and you have to find another target, kind of thing. So if your target actually identifies you as the character that's hunting them and hits you instead, then they're no longer your target. You're stunned. You're now, essentially notified that you are here on the map. Come and get me, kind of thing, for whoever's hunting you, and you now have to find a completely new player. All your progress is wasted.
Huh.
So it was a very interesting concept. Beautiful game, right? It was one that is made in one of these newer engines that is not meant to be retro. Like, it looks as polished and clean as any AAA title that you would imagine. The only concerns that I have is I was playing this game. It was neat. It was a game that's a little bit more... you have to be more strategic and thoughtful as opposed to brute force and, mechanics kind of thing. So it's not the kind of thing that if you're used to Destiny and you love that fast-paced action, feeling like a hero, that's not what this is about. It's a little bit more like playing chess than that. With that said, I think my biggest concern with the game, it's going to, they haven't launched it yet. They have an open beta actually coming up that they just announced. So we're going to definitely get in there and try it out in the open beta, get more time than just the one round that I had. But it does come out later this month. Replayability, I think, is going to be a concern. I just kind of wonder, like, how long will the mechanics of the game be engaging to support a community that wants to continue to play in this atmosphere? And honestly, talking to Blazing Griffin, some of their developers, I think that they're releasing this game. They hope it's moderately successful. I think they were able to learn a lot from the development that they want to put into their next project. When we finished our session with them, they had us look at some concept art. They had us do some back and forth survey type questions about their next project. And a lot of these indie developers, that's what it's about. Like, I need this game to be just so successful that my next project, I can put into it what I want to put into it. And so, yeah, I'm going to pull up some details. What do you guys think about that as a gaming mechanic, an idea for an indie game? Is this something that you're interested in trying out?
Oh, definitely. It definitely sounds interesting. I know that you and Longboy got to go see it while I was off doing something else. But even just hearing about how it's, you have to pretend to not be a human and being able to be strategic, and you're playing against different people, but you're in a sea of NPCs and you have to blend in. I do think that that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how many rounds I'm going to want to do on a regular basis. So I do feel you that on the replayability, but it definitely does sound like it's like a good party game, especially if you can go in with a group of friends and you're like, oh, I got you. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely sounds like a good fun type of concept there.
Yeah,
I view it as the kind of thing that you're playing a bunch of games and you hop in to do a round when you're playing with your group of friends, right? You play a few rounds and then you jump into another game. It could be that kind of like party-ish type game that is just part of your night of gaming with your friends. What do you think, Mark?
I like it. I think that it would be very easily adapted to a drinking game. Games like this, I feel like anything that is multiplayer and co-op or any kind of PvP, anything, if you have a group of friends that is down to play it, you're going to have fun. So I had a couple of questions because I did not try it. When a fight breaks out, what is it like? You spend a lot of your time, it's cat and mouse and you're hunting. Is it?
It's one hit. Hit registers. Yeah. So there's no back and forth. There's no life bars. It's just timing. Either you hit first or they hit first.
Okay. So basically what you're talking about is a game of Clue, whodunit, kind of cat and mouse, like more trying to blend in with a bunch of NPCs, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think I could see that. Yeah, you would need to create an event around it that you're basically creating an extra layer to the game to give it any kind of replayability.
Right.
Like as a for instance, if we wanted to play it with us and the producers for the Grenades and Horseshoes show, we would want to put some kind of a bet on the line, or the losers have to do the X, Y, or Z, when we see each other next, or something like that to kind of up the stakes to where you really care that you're getting caught. You really have motivation to win. So,
right.
But yeah, I definitely will try it out though.
I'm the open beta starts Friday, April 20th, so tomorrow. Check it out on Steam. It's only on PC. And anybody's open. In fact, they gave us a bunch of beta keys thinking that they do a closed beta, but obviously they changed direction and they decided that they wanted to do open beta. So you don't need our beta keys that we got. You can hop in and try it out for yourselves, and certainly support the developers. It was neat kind of hearing what drives them. They really like this genre of murder mystery, Agatha Christie-esque type of environments and experiences. Whodunit, Clue, figuring out puzzles, trying to determine like who is the murderer in a scenario. I'm more excited actually for the next game that they're working on. So I'll be watching this developer pretty closely and seeing what else that they come out with. But definitely worth the time to check out. I think it's going to be worth a few laughs and giggles. And if we get some time, we're going to be in Austin, man. So I don't know that we're going to get a ton of time to check it out, but probably a little bit of time. Especially if you bring your Razor along with us, so we can. It'll run on the Razor, so we'll do that. All right, guys, that is my indie spotlight for the week. Let's get into last credits. We're at the end of the show, starting off with Yuna.
So we started a whole new kind of like almost like a campaign on Twitter. So I really want to thank everyone that's been, giving us feedback and really liking our new stuff and, giving us the thumbs up. Really means a lot to us. Definitely see a lot more people repeats, and it's really great to see that, people are really liking what we're putting down. And thank you for, all the support and the good conversations that are coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. How about you, Mark Square? How are you using your last credit?
I would like to shout out to Justin and the guys, Barbecue, and the guy Kevin over at Dad Tales. They had Indulgent Human and I on to talk about our new art series, the Vanguard Cinema, that we did with Justin, and we had a blast. So that's over on iTunes and wherever you listen to your podcasts on Dad Tales podcast, and we had such a great time. Barbecue is always telling these just completely ridiculous dad jokes, and I'd like to go. Oh, it was. So he said that. He said, "I'll go ahead and repeat it here on the show. Thank you, Baroque Reaper Barbecue, for making me laugh so hard the whole time I was on the show." But he said, when I go to the grocery store and they ask me paper or plastic, I say it doesn't really matter because I'm bisexual.
I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
I listened to this episode as well. They're friends of the show. We game with them quite a bit. One of these days, we need to have a little crucible tournament between Dad Tales, Grenades and Horseshoes, and Saint 14. Maybe even throw another team friend of the show into the mix there. But maybe the DCA can put together a team and we can have a little tournament. But I loved how Justin said that him and his wife. They're not having any children anymore. They're closed for business. And then he corrected himself and said, "Well, the business is still open. We're just not shipping anything."
Yeah. Or no, was it like the production line is going, but we're not shipping anything?
Yeah, it was so good. So definitely check those guys out. They put together a very fun show each week. Friends of the show. All right, so my last credit is going to go to our Grenades and Horseshoes Name That Game Twitter leaderboard. So we started this week. Name that game on Twitter. So check at G&H podcast, at G&H show on Twitter. Every day we post a video game art, video game scene, And our leaders, the people who actually guessed the right games, right? They guessed it correctly over the course of the week. Little Light D2, My Lucky Clover, Grugrex43, TVD Morris, Average Joe, Frodis, and Elmer Fudd. Congratulations. Jelly.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you can't catch the live show, then you can find the replays on the Grenades and Horseshoes YouTube channel. If you'd like to stay connected to the community during the week, you can reach us at our show Twitter handle, @G&H Show, or at our individual handles, @MarkSquare_, @GreyGhost2E, and @Yuna. We're also open to any ideas you may have or seeing any clips that you would like to send in. Please send the feedback to gnhfeedback@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.